What's going on, everyone? Brian here from Bright Guy Garage, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at how to replace the heater hoses on your 60s Mustang. So as we can see here, I'm already doing quite a bit of work under the hood. So I've already disconnected the heater hoses from the engine. That's extremely simple. One just comes to the crossover pipe here that's underneath the carburetor, or the heater, whatever you want to call it, and the other one here goes to the front of the block over here, at least on this 200 cubic inch 6-cylinder. So that's really easy. That's just a matter of loosening the clamps and pulling the hoses off. However, what makes this job a bit of a pain and requires a little more time and finesse, if you take a look at these heater hoses, they actually pass through the firewall and into the car. So in order to complete this job, we actually need to come inside the car and underneath the dashboard on the passenger side, and we need to remove this heater box from the firewall. And we're going to drop that down onto the floor, and then we'll be able to access the back where the heater hoses connect. Don't worry though, it's not that bad of a job, and we're going to do it together. But something worth mentioning real quick, take a look at your Mustang, because from the factory they come like this with the heater hoses going through the firewall, but there's a small possibility that someone that may have owned the car before you replaced the heater core already, and they may have put in an aftermarket heater core that has longer piping on it. And they make those so that they come into the firewall and you can do this whole job from inside the engine bay. So at least take a look, maybe you'll get lucky. And if not, well, we're gonna go through the process, and it's up to you if you wanna actually replace the heater core while you're doing this job anyway, and put in that longer one, so if you ever have to do this again, you don't have to drop the heater box. So we're going to start here in the engine bay, passenger side of the firewall. This is the blower motor, and this attaches to the rear of the heater box. So we're going to have to unbolt this from the firewall so we can pull it inside the car. So there's 4 nuts here, 1 on each corner, and we're going to use a 7/16 socket to get those off. Now me personally, I'm not going to cut these because I don't have the cylinder head installed, so I'm going to leave them here as a guide for when I have to cut the new ones. So I'm just going to leave these here, but up to you if you want to cut them and get them out of your way if you have a big roll of heater hose that you're working with. But we're going to start here. That was already pretty loose. Alright, here's all 4 of the nuts removed. If we look down here, next we got to remove the wiring that goes to the blower motor. And there's just these 2 little connectors here. We're going to grab each side of these, twist and pull. Now it's possible that it's been a while since these were last removed, so I might have to get a pair of pliers, but we'll see. Oh, came right out. Just separate it like that. So with both of these connectors disconnected, the blower motor is now free to move inside the car once we unhook everything, and it doesn't seem like it's too stuck either, so that's good. Alright, now we can go ahead and jump inside the car, and as you can see, I have no console and no shifter currently installed. This is a console car. I removed everything because I needed to replace the shifter bushings. So up here in the card, I'm going to have links to 2 videos, one on how to remove the console if you have one, and 2, how to replace the automatic shifter bushings if your shifter is really sloppy, because that's very common. Now, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but if you're doing this job and you have a console, you're almost certainly going to need to remove it, because that's your defroster plenum right there, I believe. Your defroster ducts go there, and as you can see, it's pretty much right behind where the console sits, and I don't think you're going to be able to drop this box very easily with the console there. So again, I'll have those videos up here. So if we come under the dash here and get in real close behind the heater box, we can see where the heater hoses go into the back. And that is unfortunately why we have to drop the heater box. So the official Ford repair manuals tell you that if you're doing a heater core replacement, you need to remove the entire glove box, reach in and undo all of the linkage from the top of the heater box, because you have cables and stuff that run from your heater controls. However, since I'm just looking to get behind the box and not inside it, I'm going to try and just drop it with everything attached and remove as little as possible. So we're going to try to do that, and if I need to take anything else off, we'll do it. Okay, so next, right here in the front of the box, facing the passenger seat, we're just going to remove these connectors. Bigger one on the top, small one on the bottom. I'll just tuck that up and out of the way. From here, now if we look up under the dash, up towards the right, we can see there is a bolt up there, and that is a 3/8 bolt that holds the box up to the dash. So we're gonna remove that. Now we're looking right behind where the center console would be, and we're gonna remove the ducting from the defroster plenum. Just get these out of the way. Now I'm just gonna pull the box towards me and down and see if we can get it to come through. Just gonna check these cables real quick, make sure nothing's too tight. Okay. Drop that box down. Hopefully my big head wasn't in the way the whole time. So now with the heater box dropped down and pulled out towards me a little bit, we can come over here again and we can see we have a clear shot to the heater hoses and the clamps. So that's gonna make it real easy to get to them. That's plenty of room. And the best part is, we don't have to remove the glove box, take everything out, and disconnect all the cables. There's actually plenty of slack here on each of the cables. And speaking of cables, while you're down here, look at them real quick and make sure that they're operating properly, because you can come right to them now and see this guy here, full motion, no problem. This one over here moves just fine, but this guy here kind of stuck. And as I'm moving that, I can see this cable right in front of me moving, which is this one, and I believe that's for this door in here, which, yeah, it's a little stuck. So while I'm down here, I'm gonna free that up, but let's keep going with the heater hoses. All right, so I have what I believe are the factory clamps that are still on here, and they're 3/8. So I'm gonna get these nice and loose. That's the top one, and this bottom one here. Now I'm gonna rotate these just to make sure that they're broken free. I just hopped out quick just to take a mental note. The top hole is the hose that goes to the front of the block, and the bottom hole goes to the carb. Again, this is a 6-cylinder. Now for the fun part of actually getting these removed. No idea how long these have been on here, and boy, that feels stuck. I'll try the old bend in every direction trick. See if maybe we can break that seal. Man, these things are stuck on. So I'm just gonna work around the circumference of this with the pick and just loosen up the seal. Okay, so I finally got it where this top hose can rotate, so I should be able to pull it off now. And I have a bunch of towels underneath to catch any remaining coolant. Anything? A little bit, okay. Come on. There we go. All right, so that back one, or the bottom one, just does not want to come out. And unfortunately, the defroster plenum runs right under it, so I can't really get the pick all the way under it to break that free. So I'm gonna remove the box. Okay, Ford, you win. I'm taking it out. So at this point, we're gonna remove the nut here, There's one there, and then there's one over here. So I'll take each of those nuts out, slide the cables off, and then we'll get the box out of the car. Okay, so I'll show you the process on this cable here. We're gonna take this screw out. I'm just gonna drop that. There's another plate here. It's got a little tab on the top, so it can sit in like that. Get that out of the way. And now there is a tiny retaining clip right here that prevents the cable from slipping off. And I'm just gonna take the pliers that I have here, and I'm just gonna give that just a little, oh, it's already pretty loose. We'll straighten that back out before we put it on. Slide that off. And now we can go ahead and slide the cable off. Put that aside. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing to the other two cables. Alright, so with the box finally out of the car, I can see why this lower hose is giving me such a hard time to get it removed. If we look here, I have this clamp completely loosened, the bolt is out of it. And I don't know if you can see it, but right here there's kind of a line that goes around the hose. That's the raised part of this fitting. That's the highest part, and I can't even get this clamp to come back and over that, no matter how much I wiggle it, turn it, and try to get it off. So I'm actually going to take these two fasteners out here and remove this defroster plenum so I can get underneath it, and hopefully that'll give me a little more room, and we'll go from there. And then with this flipped around, it looks like there should be two more here, but we only got one. So we'll take that out as well. Take that out. Go ahead and slide that off. Finally got this hose spinning now. Let's get that up and over. There we go. Man, even with it removed, I can barely get this off. Holy crap, look at this. Got my new hose here, and put them next to each other and measure that out. Give myself just a little more to be safe. And there we go. Alright, so this box in particular is in pretty good shape overall. There's no holes, there's no rust in the box that I see. The seal's still nice and squishy. It's in great shape, actually. No leaves in here, that's nice and clean. And the cable that was jammed before, this is the lever for it. That moves nice and free now. So, basically, everything works. It functions. I know there's no issues with the heater core, so I'm going to leave well enough alone and just put it back in the car. Now, if you need to do anything with the box, obviously now is the time. And think about that heater core with the longer fittings if you want to get that in there so you never have to pull this box out again to do this job. I think CJ's Pony Parts has that with the long fittings on it. But anyway, it's clean, it functions, it's going back in. So with the box back in the car, now I just got to get the cables on, tighten down, and bring that top heater hose in and clamp down. I'm just going to fly through this because this is just the reverse of what we've already done. Okay, so the box is back in and fully installed. So the fastener that goes up into the body that holds this up is obviously in place. Got the wiring harnesses both plugged in. Got defroster ducts back in, and all the cables are hooked up. Sorry I couldn't film everything. I'm down to one light, and this one is almost dead now. So a couple tips that I have for the cables. The retainers are the clips that go on to hold the cables in place. If yours are a little loose, put them on a flat bench and give it a smack with a hammer. That'll flatten it back out, and then you can come back and tap it into place. These are different style retainers. These look newer, so I actually don't know which one is original, but these are real simple. They just tapped right back on. Additionally, with the cables, when you go to install them, make sure that the rod is fully extended, then pull the cable all the way tight, then get it on here, put the plate on, then the bolt, and then clamp it down. And make sure that you're clamped onto the sheathing of the cable and not actually on the inner cable itself, because if you clamp onto this, that's going to prevent everything from moving and working properly. And if we come back here, we can see every one of these moves just fine. Tip number 2, when you're actually getting this box up and into position so you can put that single bolt in that hangs the box, it would help you a lot to have someone outside the car that was able to look at the firewall here and guide you, because these 4 studs around the blower motor need to line up perfectly in order for it to pass through the firewall and for that box to sit flush up against the firewall inside the car. I was able to get like the tip of a finger behind the box to feel where the stud and the hole was, and that's how I was able to get it in eventually, but it took a lot of wiggling, and it's not fun holding that thing over your head. And here's another tip. I just realized that I pinched the wires so that the connectors are still inside the car. So before you tighten everything up, make sure that your wires and your connectors are all the way through. Now I gotta go back in, loosen that up, and get those out of there. Alright, now this is all good. These are connected, and all 4 nuts are put back and tightened down. Thankfully, I didn't have to take everything out to get those through. Alright, so now all that's left is to actually hook up your heater hoses here in the engine bay, which obviously I will not be doing because my cylinder head is not here. Here's my leftover heater hose, and I have plenty to get the job done. The restoration websites sell them in 8-foot lengths. They have the white or blue stripe, whatever it is. I don't need this to be show quality Concours restoration, so I just got good quality 5/8 hose to replace that. So 8 feet should do you good. And if you've made it this far into the video, I'll share this with you. Here is the heater hose routing depending on which engine you have. Up here we have the 6-cylinder, then we have the 289, and the 390 here on the bottom. So just in case you're putting a car back together and maybe you forgot, hopefully that'll help. Alright, I'm going to leave you guys with this. Take the extra 5 to 10 minutes and get that passenger seat out of the car. I'm going to be paying for that with back pain for the next couple days. I tried to avoid having to take more of the interior out, and honestly, I was just hanging off of the edges of seats in all sorts of positions that were uncomfortable. So, get it out of there. You'll be happy you did. Otherwise, the job went smoothly and looks good. Everything went back together nicely, so can't complain. Anyway, if this helped, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I got a bunch of other projects going on that you might be interested in. And I'll be posting more videos with this Mustang as I continue to do this little revival project that I have here. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Take it easy.